My name is James Lorenzo, and it's time for me to wash my dishes. So, the Super Bowl is set. Congratulations to the San Francisco 49ers and the Kansas City Chiefs. Two historically great football teams. The Kansas City Chiefs, one of the oldest teams in the NFL, and the San Francisco 49ers, one of the most successful franchises in the NFL. On one side, you have pretty boy Jimmy G, and on the other side, you have reigning MVP Patrick Mahomes. The Chiefs are led by the unfairly criticized Andy Reid, who I believe is one of the greatest coaches of all time, at least one of the greatest offensive minds of all time. He has led the Eagles, a team to the Super Bowl before, the Eagles, some years back, that Donovan McNabb TO team. And then you have Patrick Mahomes. You have my man Sammy Watkins, one of the forgotten best receivers in the league, in my opinion. But you know, you got that speed demon on the other side, Tyreek Hill, who is, you know, maybe behind that guy down in New Orleans, Michael Thomas. Behind Michael Thomas, arguably, I wouldn't take. There's not too many people I would take over Tyreek Hill at wide receivers. And with Patrick Mahomes back there, man, just bombing it out to him, that's an unstoppable combination. And on the other side, you have the 49ers, led by a committee of running backs. You have Coleman from Atlanta. You have, you got that guy Mozart. Forgot how to say his name. I don't have it in front of me, but you got Mozart, who just became who put up one of the most epic playoff performances by a running back ever. You got Debo at wide receiver. You have Debo at wide receiver. You have Emmanuel Sanders over there somewhere. You have shit-talking Richard Sherman on one side. You have a Bosa boy on the D-line. Great overall defense, great linebackers, great team, great general manager, great organization, led by former Washington coordinator, Kyle Shanahan. Now, I am happy for the 49ers and the Chiefs fans. Two well-deserving franchises. You have the Niners, who have not won a Super Bowl since '95. Ironically, that Super Bowl, like this Super Bowl, was in Miami. However, they were in a Super Bowl in 2012, I believe, led by Colin Kaepernick. So how does this tie in to the franchise, to the football team in Washington, D.C.? This is the second year in a row where you'll have a former offensive coordinator coaching in a Super Bowl. Last year, it was the Rams' Sean McVay. This year, it is Kyle Shanahan. Now, if we want to go back a couple years, this is if I believe, this is the third out of the last 4 Super Bowls where someone from a former Washington coach has been a part of the Super Bowl in a big way. Twice it was Kyle Shanahan. In 2016, Kyle Shanahan was the offensive coordinator for the Atlanta Falcons. Now, this is important because since these last few Super Bowls where Kyle Shanahan or Sean McVay has been a part of, at the same time, Jay Gruden was the coach in Washington. Jay Gruden was the offensive mind that they decided to keep over Sean McVay and Kyle Shanahan. Jay Gruden took over as Washington's head coach back in 2014, replacing Mike Shanahan. A part of that staff that he took over was a younger, Sean McVay is only 34, he'll be 34 this month. and Kyle Shanahan is 40. So you have these two coaches that are holdovers from the Shanahan era. At the time, I believe McVay was tight ends coach, maybe an offense assistant. During Jay Gruden's time, he became an offensive coordinator. Same thing for Kyle Shanahan. I believe Kyle Shanahan and McVay were co-offensive coordinators. And along with Jay Gruden, so they had about 3 offensive coordinators going into Jay Gruden's inaugural time with Washington. In 2016, Sean McVay took over for the Rams, literally turned around Jared Goff's career, and since 2016 has compiled a record of 35-17, including Coach of the Year and a Super Bowl appearance last year. Literally gotten people hired by being friends with him. But for some reason, Washington saw him, had him in the building, was like, you know what? We're going to stick with Jay. We're going to just stick with Jay Gruden. Now, Kyle Shanahan, on the other hand, he did have a rocky start. He became the head coach 2 years ago. I believe this is his 3rd year. He became the head coach in 2017 as a part of John Lynch's. John Lynch came in and he hired Shanahan, and they traded for Jimmy G that year. And the first year and some change, they had a rough go. Jimmy G got injured, but all in all, now they're in the Super Bowl with Jimmy G leading the way, and he's compiled a record of 25-25 and will probably be the Coach of the Year. So you'll have 2 years in a row where the AP Coach of the Year were 2 former Washington offensive coordinators. Since 2016, Jay Gruden, on the other hand, has compiled a record of 22-30. He did win the division back in 2016 with a whopping record of 9-7, leading a division that was pretty comparable to this year, where the Cowboys were 9-7 winning the division. So am I saying that Washington is continuously incompetent, at least the football organization? Yes. Continuously, we let talent leave the building. Continuously, it comes back to bite us in some way. We took the wrong offensive mind. We kept the wrong offensive guy. Now, why did Kyle Shanahan leave? Why did McVay leave? I don't know. They went on to greener pastures, but at the time, Kyle couldn't have known he was going to greener pastures because he was going to Cleveland. And this is pre-Baker Mayfield Cleveland. I believe they had maybe Tyrod Taylor at quarterback, but it wasn't anything to be excited about. Not the current Browns, no Nick Chubb, no nothing. So he was going to Cleveland. He left Washington to go to Cleveland. Now, Sean McVay's case, I believe they just chose Jay Gruden over Sean. Sean, they had to know, would be and eventually be a great head coach. But at the time, they also knew that Jay Gruden was a pretty mediocre coach. And so they let them both walk. So when I say that no organization has shown the incompetence that Washington has shown under current ownership, I truly believe that. Even with Cleveland, they've tried different coaches. They've had different players. They've had all this other stuff, man. Different owners, different GMs. And I just think it's just bad luck. It just has to be bad luck because it's all different organizational structures. Then with the Bengals and the Jets and the Giants and anyone else you can name, I can tell you why Washington is the worst. And it's because of stuff like this. How do you let 2 offensive minds that are currently leading their teams to Super Bowls 2 years in a row walk out of your door It has to be poisoned from the roots. It has to be poisoned from the roots. Now, congratulations to the Niners. Congratulations to the Chiefs. You're welcome. The dishes are clean, the countertop is wiped down, and the dishwasher is loaded. I'm done with my dishes.